Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so thankful that you decided to click on this video and spend a little bit of time with me today. If this is one of the first videos that you've ever clicked on of mine, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Kristen. I love crochet. I've been crocheting about 10 years now, or a little bit more. Probably about 12 years now, actually. And I love all things yarn, all things crochet, so I post a lot of everything I crocheted in a week videos. I post some yarn reviews from time to time, yarn hauls, things like that. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, I would hope that you would consider subscribing. And if you like this video, I hope that you will like this video because that really helps my channel out. So today I have a pretty interesting topic that I want to talk about, and this is a video that I've kind of been mulling around in my head about for a while, just kind of thinking about what are the current crochet trends. So things that have really blown up in popularity over the last 6 months or more, maybe in the last year. As most of you know, crochet has like exploded in the last couple years, and you see it everywhere now. You see it in movies, TV shows, you see it all over the internet, you see it on the runway, you see it in like big named companies, which that's a story for another day because obviously those clothing items are probably not made ethically, which is a sad reality of all of this. But that's a story for another day, or a topic for another day. Today I just want to talk about some of those trends that I'm seeing in crochet that seem to be all over the place. So the way that I kind of compiled my list is I just first of all thought about what stands out to me when I think about things I've seen over and over again. What are the first things that I think of before ever looking anything up? 2, what are the things I've been drawn to lately? And then also just going on Pinterest and typing in crochet trends and kind of looking through, and there is definitely some major themes. So today I want to just share those with you guys. I thought it'd just be a fun and interesting topic. I have my camera a little bit offset today because I want to show you some examples of stuff right here. So I have this big open area to pop up pictures. So yeah, let's just have a little bit of fun, talk about some crochet trends, grab a crochet project and crochet while I talk to you if you'd like to. And let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about, probably one of the major trends over the last year. This kind of overarches all these other trends because you will see this one trend within everything. And that is granny squares. Granny squares, everything. So the main one that I see obviously is like using granny squares to make cardigans or any other type of clothing. But then also bags, making granny square bags. And I know granny squares, that's one of those timeless things. People throughout all generations of crocheters since the granny square was invented, it has been a popular item. But I think using granny squares in clothing, I know that that trend has popped up in the past, but I think granny squares were used primarily in blankets for a lot of years and things like that. So seeing that trend pop back up of using granny squares for clothing in all different ways, even for hats, for scarves, everything, that has been a major trend of the year. I think also unique granny squares, so like granny squares that look like flowers, or granny squares that look like different fruits, or granny squares that are just fun and unique and not just your basic granny square. Those have become super popular over the last couple years. So kind of following along in that same line, the next thing I'd want to say is a huge crochet trend is granny stripes. So we're seeing a ton of granny stripe patterns all over the place. Again, the same kind of thing. Clothing, obviously the famous Taylor Swift dress that everyone was talking about recently, that is a granny stripe pattern. Granny stripe blankets, of course, have been popular all throughout the years, but using granny stripes in other ways, we've seen a lot of that over the last year or two. So kind of, like I said, tying it back into the granny square idea, you see a lot of a couple specific clothing items that are really trendy. right now. One of the things is vests. Vests are really coming back in style, which is kind of funny to me because I feel like vests were pretty popular in what, the 70s, even the 80s. And when I was a kid in the late 90s, I was born in 91. And so, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, especially early 2000s when I was in like middle school, you know, going into high school, like vests were not cool. Okay. So like it was something like nobody wore in my generation. So to see vests coming back, it's just kind of funny to me, and it's just interesting to see how these trends recirculate over time. So you see a lot of granny square vests. Of course, I will pop up a couple examples up here. And along that same line, you are seeing a lot of bucket hats coming back in style over the last couple of years. So again, I'm sure bucket hats were popular however long ago. When I was a teenager, it was not cool to wear a bucket hat, and now it is. So it's just funny. But again, that granny square theme, a lot of people make the bucket hats and the vests out of granny squares. So again, if you just type in crochet trends on Pinterest, you will see a plethora of granny square patterns. They are just all over the place right now. And I mentioned earlier the Taylor Swift dress that I'll put a picture of it here that everyone has been talking about. I think that really spurred on this movement to make dresses. I feel like when I first started crocheting in about 2011 or 2012, I didn't see dresses being made at all. I didn't see that. I mean, I've seen a few over the years, but it's like this big boom in crochet dresses has arrived, especially with the Taylor Swift crochet dress. I think that just like was the icing on the cake for crochet dresses. Again, you see the granny squares coming into play, or the granny stripes within these dresses. And that kind of brings me into the next trend, which is retro inspired items. So her dress, of course, looked to me like a 70s inspired dress. And you're seeing a lot of that era's style, I think, coming into the crochet trends. And so now I'm seeing a lot of retro inspired dresses, skirts. We talked about vests, all those things. So that kind of leads me into the next trend, which is oversized cardigans. So you will see, and I've made several of these, or sweaters, oversized sweaters or cardigans, where you have like the drop sleeve. So the seam for the sleeve doesn't start here, it starts down here, which gives it kind of that oversized look. And then tying that back into the retro inspired items, you're seeing a lot of sweaters, cardigans with open bell sleeves. I'm actually working on a sweater right now with those type of flowy retro looking sleeves. And even though it's not a granny stripe pattern, it's very similar. It looks a lot like that. So be excited to see that. But to me, it looks kind of retro with the big open sleeves. It's a little oversized. So you're seeing a lot of that. Just that oversized, flowy sleeves, granny square cardigans and sweaters. And not just granny squares. You're seeing all different types of stitches, but a ton of granny squares. And then that leads me to the next trend, which is boho inspired items. So boho stands for bohemian. So again, it's kind of that flowy, that flowy look that a lot of times boho items have looser type stitches. So I made a boho top by Crafting a Cuppa recently. I will put a picture right here, and it uses treble crochet. And so you see a lot of like treble crochets and those type of patterns. You see fringe with boho, so those type of things. Again, that kind of ties into the oversized sweater and cardigan look, that type of thing. And then another huge trend, now this has been trending for several years now, but it's making stuffed animals. So I know people have done this for years, but I'm talking about the blow up in popularity of it, I think has happened over the last few years. And so I would say right now, I think for a while, like bees and several things like that were trending, but now I would say the biggest trending stuffed animals are turtles, like sea turtles. Frogs, of course, those have been popular for a few years. Mushrooms and mushroom frogs. And then also poppable items. So a lot of times you will see like mushrooms or mushroom frogs that have like little mushrooms on the top of them that pop up and down. So almost like a fidget type toy. Those have been really popular. And then also tying in like fruit themes to animals. So I, for example, made a strawberry cow. So that's one. I have one here, like I have a bundle of snail patterns that all use different fruits for the shell. So I think tying in fruit themes has been really popular for stuffed animals or for amigurumi, as well as for granny squares. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fruit inspired granny squares that have like a kiwi or an orange or something in the middle of the granny square. So you see a lot of fruit themed things. Cherries and strawberries are really popular right now in everything, in decor, in clothing. And so of course I think you're going to see a lot more like granny squares with cherries and strawberries, which those are already out, but I think we're going to see a lot more of those being made and then made into wearables. And then kind of a bonus little item. You know, these I don't think have ever lost popularity, but I've really noticed a ton of coaster patterns lately. So that was another big thing when I was scrolling through Pinterest, is just all the different coaster patterns. And I actually just got my recent Crochet World magazine, and it had a really cool pattern for a coaster that it's a very interesting concept. I will put a picture of it here, but it basically kind of hugs your mug. So it's kind of, instead of just being a flat coaster, it has little parts that come up and like hug around your mug. Again, you will understand what I'm talking about when you see the picture. But again, coasters have become super popular over the last couple years and probably forever. And then one other little bonus item is bandanas. I've seen a lot of like bandana type or headband, again, that goes along kind of with the boho look and the granny square thing. I've seen several of those pop up on Pinterest lately and all over YouTube and stuff like that. So of course this isn't an exhaustive list of all the crochet items that are trending right now. This is just some that I've come across and that I have seen a lot of. If I had $1 for every time I said granny square in this video, I think I would have quite a bit of money by the end of this video. So if you have any crochet trends that I didn't mention that you have seen pop up recently, please post them in the comments. I would love to hear what you have seen. Tell me some of the trends that you love, some that you don't love so much. I would really be interested to know. I honestly really enjoy a lot of these trends. So I'm happy about it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will post a few links to some of my favorite patterns that kind of correspond to these trends. And then I also will post my Premier affiliate link as well as a 10% off coupon code for you. If you click on that link, you will get 10% off your order and I will get some Premier points. And then if you click on the affiliate link, then I earn a very small commission on whatever you purchase through Premier. So if you are wanting to buy any Premier yarns, it's become like my favorite yarn brand recently, then definitely consider clicking that link, one of those links, to help me out. So again, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I just thought it was a fun little topic to talk about. I think it's very interesting how things trend at different times. Like for example, when I first started crochet back, like I said, about 2012, themed hats were really in, and like beanies, and especially owl hats were really, really popular. So beanies with little owl faces and owl ears, and the hats always had like braids that came down on the side. Even the little boys would wear them. Like my son, who's 12, about to be 12, I would always have an owl hat for him. Like they were so cute. So that was something that was trending then that you don't really see that much anymore. So I'm always just interested in how things that people are making are changing over the years. I would love to do a video about crochet trends through the decades. If you would be interested in a video like that, then definitely let me know. It would take obviously a little bit of research to do, but I'd be very interested in doing that video. So if you'd be interested in seeing it, let me know. So the verses I want to share with you today, I've been actually starting to study the book of Mark, and this is Mark 1, verses 1 through 4. It says, "The beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God." He says, "As it is written in Isaiah the prophet," and then he quotes this prophecy from the book of Isaiah. It says, "Behold, I send my messenger before your face who will prepare your way, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his path straight." So there's the prophecy, and then Mark comes back in and says, "John appeared, baptizing in the wilderness and proclaiming a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins." And this just really struck me as, I mean, I've read over this a million times, but it just hit me that how cool it is that Mark is giving you evidence that what he is saying was prophesied, and that this is a fulfillment of prophecy coming true. So he quotes that verse in Isaiah when it talks about a messenger coming before Jesus coming from the wilderness and preparing the way for the Lord. And then he goes in to say, and then John appeared. This prophecy is being fulfilled. And so I just thought that was really cool. I love to learn about biblical archaeology and prophecies that have been fulfilled, and it really is amazing. I just find it extremely difficult for anybody who is a skeptic, if they really studied these things. I think it's hard to deny that the Bible is extremely, extremely accurate, which we as Christians know that it is the inspired word of God, and so we know that it is 100% accurate. But, you know, to the skeptic, I just can't see how they can deny it if they actually go in and examine these things. So I just love that. It's something I noticed this week, so I wanted to share it with you. I pray that you have an amazing rest of your week. I pray that God blesses you. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you super soon in the next one. Bye!